Welcome back to another edition of the Ultimate Car 959 Top 30. My name is DJ Keyez. We continue bringing you some of your favorites, right? And today we actually giving you somebody who's, I'd say, made you dance and introduced Lady Zamar to you, because that's how it basically started with Junior Taurus and Lady Zamar. They came with, I think it was a different style back then, because not a lot of people made that kind of beats, but yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. We'll chat to him. Barake abuti Tshepo Mosidi, aka Junior Taurus.
Yeah.
O grand me out.
Oh, I get us.
Kaufela me out. Kaufela. We'll get to the Lady Zamar, different sound.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, right? Before we even started recording, you and I were actually arguing about you being from Rustenburg or not.
Yeah, but look, I was born there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was born there, but I left Rustenburg at a very early age.
Sure.
So I've been in Pitori all my life.
Yeah.
One side.
Which part of
So Mabopane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and then we moved to the north side of Pretoria. Yeah, so that's where I've been.
Oh, so cheese boy,
Cheese boy bang, Joe. I want cheese boy go Pitori, Joe.
How's Mabopane and Pretoria North?
Joe, where is Lebanon?
Eh.
Have you heard of a place called Lebanon?
I've heard of it, yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the one there. But have you heard of a place called Lebanon?
Lebanon, that's right. Yeah.
Hey, bro. There's no cheese boys there, my boy. On what? Because right across the street is Gandalf.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. You know, Pretoria is a very dope place to instill certain qualities,
Sure.
especially when you are growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm very grateful for the place, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those qualities. What sort of qualities would you say Pretoria taught you? I mean, if you were born in Rustenburg, left when you were about 6, grew up in Mabopane just a bit, and then later on, Pretoria North.
It teaches you how to be smart. Street smart.
Yeah.
And look, there's a lot that I can attribute to the place, but honestly, it really taught me how to think on my feet.
Yeah.
On top. And it's very important, you know, especially in this industry that we're in. There's a lot of people that came and passed out, you know, but because I was there, it always taught me how to, you know, sort of like try and do something different, you know.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
All right. Mfana Pitori, we're getting to know him. His name is Junior Taurus. A lot of people actually got to know him via the songs he did, My Melody and all of that. But yeah, we'll get to that, right? Grew up in Mabopane, moved to Pretoria North. Junior Taurus finishes school. After matric, go do computer science and programming. You did it, dropped out, eventually started sound engineering with Tamelin Centurion. Take me to that day, you're going to do computer science.
It was a difficult time in my life, dog. You know, I think maybe the reason why my parents wanted me to pursue that is that I was always interested in computers from a young age. You know what I mean? Like I had an old Pentium 1. They used to call it Pentium 1 back then. You know what I mean? And I used to know everything about it. So I think they just probably thought I know.
Yeah.
You know? But at the very same time, while I was pursuing this interest in computers, I was also pursuing the reason why I wanted a computer in the first place is so I can get a software to make music. They didn't understand.
Okay.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I started. Back in the days with softwares like EJs. I'm sure you've never even heard of that software, though.
I've never heard of
your
EJ.
Favorite producer right now has never heard of that software.
Yeah.
And that's how it started for me, you know. I used to use EJs, the like little loops that you play around with.
Yeah.
So that's how it came about.
Who or how did you find out about EJ? Who introduced you to it? How did you find out about it?
I don't think there's one person in particular, just that I was always on the internet searching for stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was always just searching. And back then, like, it was everything. There was no social media back then.
For sure.
You know, you had to find out everything for yourself. But I knew that there was a way that people made music. I just didn't know how.
Yeah, but my thing is that bug. Yeah, I want to learn how to make music. It's all right.
It's something that I was born with.
Yeah.
It's something that I was born with because I remember when I was very, very young, I used to sing a lot.
Okay.
I actually thought I was going to become a vocalist. I know you laughing, yeah. I honestly thought I was going to become a vocalist.
Yeah.
And I used to sing to my mom a lot. And she would always encourage me and say, yo, you got this.
For sure.
There's actually, funny enough, but I'm gonna fast forward a bit. There's actually a song that I just worked on. I've been working on that song for close to 12 years.
Wow.
And I've just finished it recently.
Yeah.
But it's going to drop in September. That's why the EP is called Until September.
Yeah.
It's called My Memoir. It's like basically like a recollection of.
Sure.
So I actually speak about this moment in that particular song where I honestly thought I was going to become a vocalist.
Yeah.
But as I grew up, I could tell that I can't sing to save my life. Like I really can't sing. But I was very, very interested in the production of music. That was very important to me, and it still is.
Sure.
To this moment.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's why I am still I'm still doing music, whether I'm releasing or I'm not, but I'm always producing for somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that in its own makes me stay relevant regardless of the times, regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Says he makes music for some people. We'll touch on that because he has produced some hits that you love today. Don't carry his name, but obviously he's there somewhere, right? We'll chat about that. You thought you were going to be a vocalist, eventually became a multiple nominated producer, composer, sound engineer, and all of that, right?
Yeah.
Damelin.
Yeah.
What kind of people did you meet there while you were studying sound engineering?
Hey, bro. Funny enough, like half of the people that I attended with, I don't even see them anymore.
Oh.
There's only a few.
Yeah,
There's only a
yeah.
few. There's only a few people that have really stuck out
Sure.
in this industry, because this industry is not easy, dog.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really not easy, and there's nobody that's holding the door for you
Yeah.
to get in, and you really need to have like that type of personality where you are really just in it, to win regardless. And so a lot of people fade out, a lot of people move away, do other things.
Yeah.
There are people that I knew that were amazing.
Sure.
I'm talking about people that I thought that these people are like, God has given them a talent that, will probably overwhelm everybody.
Yeah.
But now they have 9-to-5 jobs. They're pursuing.
So they just couldn't stick it out.
They're pursuing life. And that is like a testament. It's like a life lesson, though.
Yeah.
It's your passion. Like where your passion lays, it will always take you forever. Right? To reap any benefit of your passion,
Sure.
it always takes a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that is where your wealth lays, and you must always stick out. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
Because we all have pressure of life, we all have kids, you need to provide for your kids. It's not easy, though, to make that decision to say, I'm going to stop this passion of mine and I'm gonna have a different purpose now.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Do you remember what year obviously you do, but what year did you get your diploma in sound engineering?
I can't even recall. But probably like 2013, 14.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, 2012, somewhere there.
Okay, I value my 2012, right?
Yeah.
Kick drums, the very first one.
Yeah,
remember that song?
I remember that song.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, I never actually put out that song.
I know.
I never released it.
I know. You gave it to your friends.
Yeah.
On Swaziland asking you, are you Junior Taurus?
Yeah, I was so shocked. I'm like, how? Like, I think that was like the very first moment that I realized that music travels.
Sure.
It travels faster than anything, because I had no idea that even people far in Swaziland were bumping that song.
Yeah.
And this was around that era of the CD, quantum, and sound and stuff like that. So, and that song had a lot of bass.
Sure.
In it. Like, it had so much bass.
Yeah.
So I think that's why people actually like that song,
Yeah.
But I really had no idea that it travels that fast. I was shocked, So I get influenced by different sounds. Back then I was influenced a lot by Mjava, because Mjava was still coming out, and it was rough. And that's where the bass I think came from. But I wanted to make mine different, somehow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of elements in that song actually when I think back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously talking about being different, relationship with Lady Zamar started. Your sound at that time, it was kind of different because
It was different. It was
broken
different.
beats, commercial house, mixed.
Yeah, and also I used to listen. There was a group back in the days called Blue Six.
Yeah.
I used to listen to them religiously. Though there is not a single day that I didn't listen to Blue Six.
Yeah.
And I think they really messed up with my musical psyche because I started creating musical works, but I knew that people could not would not relate to it.
Yeah.
So I had to keep the musical side, but make the drums a bit street.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And what you get when you do that is that you get a different sound.
Yeah.
You know, you get a different sound, and this sound at that time, it was popular and go in Pitori. There was a few of us doing it, like very few. It was probably me, sample of mine called Technique, and a couple of others that were doing broken beats. It was totally different.
Yeah.
But it had like a musical side to it, and it also had like a street side to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And for me, when I really think back, we did not create it. You know, it was birthed from Bakadi. Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
it's like it's an evolution. It's like what's happening with, you know, it's always an evolution in music. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't stay constant. So I think we borrowed certain things from other genres and we created something.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Because a lot of people think it was new. Obviously, now you also, at that time, you were like, something fresh.
Yeah, no, definitely it was
Only
new.
now. Yeah,
it was
only
new.
now
But
when
now,
you
now
think
that I
about
think
it.
about it, we borrowed sound from. It's like this whole topic with, you know, who created amapiano. There is nobody that can claim anything.
And
Nobody.
your name comes up in a lot of those conversations.
But I cannot claim anything like that because I have been influenced by other genres.
Yeah.
You know, and look, you can credit me for creating that certain sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But honestly, I did not start it. I probably helped to bring it to light.
Sure.
You know? Yeah.
It all started in 2013. You and Lady Zamar started putting out music, right? Before we talk about the songs and all of that, where did you guys meet? How did the relationship start?
There's a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, who at that time, I'm not sure what he was doing at Tunisia, but he was studying something. I think it was law. But he never completed.
Of course, I mean, you know, yeah.
And one time he came to me, he's like, "Hey Joe, it's okay." I was at some poetry session.
Sure.
And I heard this girl recite, and "Hey Joe, you must put her on a song." So the initial idea was to have a poet on a song.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. I went to go and pick her up, came to my place with this friend of mine. His name is Lolo.
Sure.
And we recorded the song, and she was just reciting some dope stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the first session.
Sure.
But I really liked her recording voice.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes people can sing live, but they don't have a dope recording. She has a dope recording voice, especially when you know exactly what to do with her voice.
Yeah.
Very, very dope, very amazing.
Yeah.
So I heard certain things, and I called her back again, and this time I'm like, "Do you think you can sing?" And she's like, "I'm not sure, but we can try it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's how it started. I had a song that I constantly wrote.
Yeah,
as
you're
well.
right, and a composer as well. Yeah.
So I gave her some song that I wrote, and we recorded, and it was really dope, and I was like, wow, you know what I mean? So that's how the relationship started.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, I think it's one of my disadvantage is that with my music personally, I always need to have a vocalist that can finish what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
And it's not easy to find somebody that will understand exactly what it is that you, with her, I could just hum a melody and she would do the rest.
Yeah.
It's crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think when I really look back on moments like that, I mean, it was a long period of time that we worked without even releasing any music. I think we probably were in studio for like 5 years before we even dropped anything.
Yeah.
And when you get to that point, you guys are sort of, how I view it now, it was like God sent.
I was about to say, I mean, if you can hum something and this person already knows.
And sometimes look, and she grew from just um singing what I had written to also writing as
Her own
well,
stuff,
because
yeah.
she's actually a writer.
I was also saying, but
she
also
she
if
studied languages,
and she wrote poetry, so
and she, yeah, exactly.
you know.
So sometimes I would have like a beat, like I had beats prepared, like
Yeah.
okay, today we're gonna work on this and work on that, blah, blah, blah. And I would have melodies for all of them, and I would have choruses for all of them,
Sure.
because sometimes when you're a producer, I mean, especially other artists, they can't simplify certain things. So choruses are very important in music. I mean, that's the only thing that you will ever remember.
For sure.
And you must always simplify it in a certain way. So I know exactly how to do it. So I would have like choruses arranged and whatever, and she would come in and exactly what I thought these songs were gonna come out, they would come out exactly like that without even me saying anything.
Yeah.
Like they
No
would,
direction.
it would be like
whatsoever.
aligned. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like we made proper magic, dog. And
Yeah.
there are so many songs that I wish people would have heard. You know, they were gonna blow you away.
Before we get to that, because I want to get to that.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Junior Taurus, Lady Zamar. They had us on a chokehold at some point.
Yeah.
Every radio station played Mamelodi. You know, it was one of the biggest songs. People didn't even know what the song is actually saying at some point. You know, in studio Mamelodi, how was it done?
First of all, she didn't want to do the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't want to do the song. She hated the song. I had to force her to
Yeah.
do the song.
Yeah.
That's why when you listen to it, it's like if you really listen carefully, you can. Yeah, she's not saying. She's like she just wanted for it to pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because she couldn't understand it, first of all, because the beat, I had to mute half of the beat when recording it.
When you're recording, yeah.
Because it's very it's a very technical song.
Yeah.
I would urge people to listen to it. It's very technical, dog.
Yeah.
And it's one of those songs that when you mix it in, people stop for a while because they don't know how to dance. First of all, you know, it throws you off.
Yeah.
So it threw her off, and she didn't want to do the song. But I put so much pressure on her, and she just recorded it just to make me happy.
Yeah.
But I knew exactly what the song was gonna do.
Why did you believe in it so much?
And I believed in it so much is because of what was happening around that time. Around that time, we used to have a lot of gigs, right? And we used to have a lot of gigs, especially in Mamelodi.
Sure.
Now, and Mamelodi had a certain, they had a certain sound and a certain way that people danced.
Yeah.
You could only see it there.
Yeah.
And I knew that the song was gonna blow up in Mamelodi, big,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it did exactly that. I remember I sent to some other friend of mine called Snow Deep to play it for the first time. He had some gig.
Yeah.
It's like a venue. He had a gig there. I think he played it like 3 times,
Wow.
back to back.
Really?
Nobody had heard it. This was the first time
Yeah.
that people heard it, and he played it like twice. And I knew, and people were already singing along with it.
Sure. Yeah.
So when people already sing along to like a song that they've never heard, I mean, there's only one direction that it can go.
And then it blew up.
And it caught fire, dog. And it was funny. I remember I was driving somewhere into town and I just heard like a taxi playing it, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know how it is when you hear something but you're not sure?
Yeah.
And I could hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how, and all of a sudden it was just a huge song, dog,
Yeah.
you know? It was a very big song.
And then what happens at that moment? Because here's a song. We've been working over 5 years. You and I recording. This one that you didn't want to record as Lady Zamar, it blew up. Next sessions, what happens? Do you now start saying, okay, now we need to take the same direction, or okay, what do we do now? Because we've got all this material.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think for I can only speak for myself.
Yeah,
now.
for sure.
I already had a plan, you know, and this is something maybe she will also attest to. I always have a plan, and I always told her this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is how we're gonna move. This was gonna happen, and then we're gonna circle back to. I already had all these plans like laid out, you know, these songs, because I knew that we had stronger songs than Mamelodi.
Yeah.
Bigger songs than Mamelodi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Mamelodi was that stepping stone for us personally. And before that, we had dropped a couple of street songs, Runaway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Pitori and all of that.
Yeah. So I had a plan. I had a plan. And at that time when Mamelodi really took off, we had already recorded probably like close to 70 songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's a lot of songs, dog. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's a lot of songs. 2013, 2015.
A lot of songs.
Cotton Candy drops. How do you choose songs to get into Cotton Candy when you've got?
And we had a big argument. We had a very heated argument about that. It was not nice, dog.
Yeah.
She felt certain tracks should be on the album.
Yeah.
I felt like those tracks could not really work.
Yeah.
It was rough.
How do you settle that then? Because you feel strongly because you're a composer, you're a producer, you know the technical side.
I hear,
Yeah.
and I've never been wrong.
Sure.
Within that group, within that duo, I was never wrong with what we should release.
Yeah.
So, look, I put a lot of pressure on her to put certain songs, but she eventually got songs that she wanted also
On the album.
Yeah, there was a song on on Cotton Candy that she wanted that song.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nothing must happen. It's an interlude actually.
Sure.
It's called The Eighth Wonder.
Yeah.
She wanted that, and I initially I didn't want to put it on.
Yeah.
But I had to compromise. I had
sure.
to compromise. Yeah.
Cotton Candy, how did it do?
It did well. Funny enough, back then you could not. How should I put it? Nowadays you the streaming, you can tell how many. Yeah. So back then, the only thing that we had to go on is, especially for me personally, is when we dropped Mamelodi, I put it on a data file host. Data file host was the only thing that had numbers that you can
For sure.
track. And I remember, like, back in the days, I think that thing had like 180,000.
Oh, damn.
And I used to compare it with like other artists that their songs were also on
On
data
the same
file,
platform, yeah.
So I could tell, like,
Because you're 180, it's a big number.
But back then it was huge. Dog.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Dog. Like people, and I remember back in that time, Kulichana had dropped some bomb as well, and it was not even close.
Yeah.
It's like probably like at 100,000, and I'm like, yeah, no, So I think the album did as well as it could do.
Sure.
For that time. Yeah. It's just.
I mean, 180 data file host is free downloads.
Yeah, that's free downloads.
Doesn't that hurt you? Like,
Nah, no, not really. I've never wanted to put a value on my money. I mean, on my music. That's something that I've never ever had any interest in doing. And I get a lot of slack from like publishers, especially my publishing, for saying stuff like that. They're like, yo, but you can't treat your music like it's a puzzle shop. And for me, what is important, especially in my life, is for my music to, just like how Kick Drum went across, and that is important for me. You know, it's not important for me to be known, to be out in everybody's faces, and to be a socialite. That's why I'm not on social media like that. People always ask me, dude, you don't even have a social media footprint, no presence. I don't need that. I don't want it. I didn't start making music for that. Yeah. Because honestly speaking, if I had started making music for that, I would have gave up a long time ago and did something else. Yeah. But for me, it's important that you hear my music. You don't have to know me personally, but I know that, should I release the song, you will hear it somehow. It will get to you. You know what I mean?
His name is Junior Taurus. We're getting to know him on the Ultimate Car 959 Top 30. For some people, this is probably the first time you even see his face. Like you said, footprint is dolol. A lot of people didn't even know your face for a long time,
Yeah.
Lolo did some magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lolo found this nice and dope vocalist / poet at Unisa.
Yeah.
Knows a producer who makes nice beats.
Yeah.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Over 70 songs done and dusted.
Yeah.
Relationship yafela. And I feel grand because here we are. We're pushing Junior Taurus and Lady Zamar. Utlakana le Facebook post.
Yeah. Like, and that's exactly how it happened.
I know.
Exactly how it happened. I was because you still think, and it happened immediately after I can't remember which, but it was a summer awards that we were nominated for as a duo.
Yeah.
And we didn't win. You know what I mean? We didn't win anything.
Yeah.
And me personally, I was not in a good space when I came back from that place. You know, I wanted to regroup and rethink. I thought maybe we were doing something wrong. And you know what I mean? I had a lot of doubts. So, but I'm still working on new music. I actually go back to the studio and I start recreating a new sound.
Sure.
Totally new.
Yeah. And this sound you're creating for Junior Taurus and Lady Zamar.
Yeah, and a totally new sound, dog.
Yeah.
I wish that people have heard. I would have had a chance to hear it.
Yeah.
It's like amazing, dog.
Sure.
And I'm working on these beats. Okay, we come. She comes to my place and we record a few songs.
Yeah.
Funny enough, out of those songs, there's a couple of songs in there that we recorded that she would later on release on her own. But that's a story for another day.
Sure.
So we record those songs, and yeah, it's cool. I start working them, I start mixing them. Hey, next thing, Facebook post, Ladies and Mars dropping, what was that song? It was produced by Divine Brothers. Actually, one of the Divine Brothers told me, he's like, yo, do you know that we're working on this song? Yeah. And I'm like, hey, okay. I didn't know anything, you know what I mean? But I saw, and then later on, I see that the Facebook posts are coming out soon. I think it was My Baby or something.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it is My Baby.
Yeah.
Brothers, actually. Yeah.
I never actually even asked it. I just went silent, you know, because not that I would never want to stop anybody's progress or your process to become something else in life. You know what I mean? But I always believe that if me and you are in a situation, you must just let me know. Like, okay, listen, by the way, I'm thinking of doing this thing this. You know what I mean? Yeah. And at that time, we had so many songs. She could have actually came and said, let me use whichever one, you know. And for me, it wouldn't have been an issue for me because initially I put her on other people's songs.
Okay.
People used to send me beats, and like before back in the day, they used to send me songs, and I used to let her record the songs. Yeah. And she would ask me, who is this for? Why are we doing it for her? You know, and I would just push it on, no, do it. And I used to put her out as a solo artist before, you know, so I would never have stopped her from becoming, for sure, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I had no idea why she didn't tell me, like, yo, I'm
what do you think went wrong though? Maybe maybe why do you think she didn't?
I think, okay, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of rumors about so with everything that I heard, if I put it together, there's some guy that spoke to her and started inquiring about you know, how we do business, how much do you earn, how much did you take for gigs, and and you know, I can do this, I can get you this, I can do this for you, that type of situation. Sure. So they started working, her and this Bruce started working. They started working together and on her project, I think, something like that. Yeah. So that's how it started. So this guy was sourcing producers to work on her project. Yeah. So I think that's how it happened. I could be wrong, but that's what I heard. Yeah. You know. So up until today, I really don't know. Yeah. I don't know what happened. Sure. But that's what I heard. Yeah. happened. You know.
Did you not winning? Obviously, you not winning that summer before all this happened. It broke your heart. It broke your spirit.
Yeah.
You had to regroup. Right?
Yeah.
Before Cotton Candy, you said there were about 70 songs.
Yeah.
You went back and tried to create a new sound.
Yeah.
Recorded with Ladies Zamar again.
Yeah.
Now, all of those other songs that are left,
they're still there in one of my hard drives, my backups. Yeah. Yeah. I listen to them now and then. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What are you going to do with them?
There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do with them. And, you know, this thing sometimes it breaks my heart because I don't know how to think about it or view it. I will not do anything with those songs personally because I believe that those songs belong to us, you know, and they were very special to me. They still are. Yeah. But her second single from My Baby was one of our songs that we did back in the days. From one of the songs.
Not like, as in, did she come ask you for it, or
No.
you bonus or you wanna on the album?
No, she went to another producer and she re-recorded.
Okay.
You know, and the third single was one of our songs that we did back in the days. Her full
And both
single.
of those are re-recorded.
Yeah, and those are big songs, you know what I mean? And I just, for a minute, I just didn't know how to feel about it, you know? If you think now, what was her biggest song to date? No, I'm asking you. Like,
I don't know. You tell me. I'm a radio guy, my man. On the radio, we play a song, it fades, we play the next one, you know? So I can't tell whose big song it is. But you would know because you were there.
Do you know there's a song she sings, "You Are a Citizen, a Resident in My Heart"? Yeah, we recorded that song years back.
And she re-recorded.
Yeah, and obviously she went to another producer and she's like, but I actually like that song, so let me just use the same words. And she has every right to, but also I co-wrote half of those lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a weird situation to be in, though.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I had wished that she would, when she moves on, you start something new.
Yeah.
You know, you come with new concept and what you don't go back and, you know, redo some of the work that we did. You know, it, to me, it sort of like says that whatever it is that we were creating was nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it had no value.
Sure.
You know?
You're a guy who has a diploma in sound engineering. You went to a fairly good, I'd say, independent private college in Damelin out in Centurion. When you study to be a sound engineer, I'm pretty sure there's a course in music business or something like that, right? You literally just said you co-wrote the songs, right? When all of this is happening, there's two ways to approach it. Welata skasi. I'm vana ka motlogele batla dila le ena go pele ba, you know, ba di mo leng leng.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you go to the record label or
Yeah.
this and this happened.
Yeah.
I co-wrote that song.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to cause drama,
Yeah.
give me my fair share.
Mm.
What was Junior Taurus' stance when all of this is happening?
And I still can do that.
For sure.
I can still go
No,
through
for
my
sure.
publishing and
sure.
we can still pursue a matter or whatever, but
Yeah.
I have no interest in that.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, I believe in I believe things in a different way. Like I look at life in a different way, you know. And as much as I would love to have some credit, it makes no difference to me. Like it would really not do me any better or make me feel any better about how the situation and it's just like a confirmation that we passed that moment. You know, I would never want to now go back and reopen the door and say, oh, by the way, why you? And it's gonna make me look like I'm bitter. You know what I mean,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not. You know, I'm not. There are so many other dope songs in there that she could probably still use, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. You know, it's just that sometimes it would really mess you up, especially when you know that you worked so hard on some of these songs. You know, and they just come out like that. But it is whatever. I will not pursue anything.
Yeah.
I will not pursue anything. Nor do I want anything. You know, for them.
Just to wrap up that particular chapter, right? I think she's getting back into studio right now. That is Lady Zamar, right? You said she could come back anytime for those songs, right?
Yeah.
2 questions on that. The first one, let's say that you feel she re-recorded with another producer for that album that did really well.
Yeah.
Do you think they sound better on the new beats, or you still feel your beats would have given them better shine? Secondly, how to just here in our reception, I'll copa maybe 10 of the 70 songs that you have for her new project.
You know, it's a funny thing. Before we sort of like went our separate ways, we had an argument, and it was a very, very also a heated argument about how I don't give her the music that we've recorded.
Sure.
And because there was so many music, like some of them I didn't even have any time to do any post-production or to edit them or to edit anything. But she couldn't understand, like so I just mixed down a lot of these songs.
Sure.
I remember I mixed down probably like close to, I could be exaggerating, but probably close to 40 songs.
Yeah.
And I gave it to her in a CD. That was because she wanted to have them and to listen to them. So she has them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to answer your second question, I honestly feel my beats, right,
Yeah.
were way better, but
Okay.
they probably couldn't have done the numbers that her new beats did because mine were totally different.
Yeah.
So the problem is that when you try to do something different, there is a lot of barrier
Sure.
to entry. It's not easy for people to accept something different.
Yeah.
So, and it's always easy for the next person that comes after you to better your sound because now you've given them like a blueprint. They've heard exactly what to do. So they might not have necessarily done better, but I think they would have lasted longer.
Yeah. Because you're all about timeless music.
Yeah.
That's what I know about
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
They would have lasted longer.
Yeah. All right. This happens. Could have broken a lot of hearts in terms of producers, in terms of people that think we've got something good going here, right? To recover from that, because now you're stuck with these songs, you can't use them.
Hey,
But Junior Taurus needs to continue.
no doubt.
How did you now move on from that?
You
particular
go
situation?
into you sort of fade back into the background again, because your nature takes over, and mine has always been a producer. I've always been like a bedroom producer. So what do? I go back, and for a while people will be asking you, hey, when are you releasing?
Yeah.
When are you? But there's nothing that I can put out because for the longest time I've been working with this person, and every single beat that I've ever made in those years, in those 5 years or 6 years or 7 years we were together, were for her. Because every time I made the instruments, I would make them with her voice in mind. Like, I know she's gonna get it like this. You know what I mean? So I could not use those beats anymore.
Yeah.
And I couldn't. I tried working with other vocalists, and it was just not happening.
Don't you think it was because you were comparing them to her?
It's not even about comparing, dog. It's about knowing what the outcome of the song could be.
Yeah.
And when someone comes through to the studio and you give them like an idea and they don't necessarily get it, and it was just frustrating. Dog. I think maybe for the following close to like 4 years, it was just a depressing time in my life. Dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I still pushed through. There was a lot of nightclubs around Pitori that I was pushing events for marketing. So that's what I did. I started, slowing down on the music a bit and focused on that.
The event side.
Focusing on doing events, doing the promo for these clubs. Yeah.
Yeah.